Seed boxes are out, so you know what's coming, but I don't think this is going to work. Okay, let's get the September one out. Okay then, let's just lay it all out there. Let's get honest. I'm doing one of these seed sown in a particular month videos, and I've just started it off by telling you I don't think this is going to work. Okay, I've done loads of these videos before. Over the last few years, I did you one every month and took you through what I was sown and why. Join me for some seeds to sow in January. My April seed sown list is longer than it should be because I am so behind. It's May, it gets exciting in May because there are so many people out in the garden sowing and growing now. Thing is, don't know if you guys have noticed this, but over the last couple of years the weather has gone really wacky. It's completely changed. And even though I'm a mad weather geek with my own weather station, I don't think I know what's going to happen tomorrow, never mind in a couple of months' time. So I'm doing this as a total experiment, and I'm changing up a few things to do that as well. Here's the thing then, because I've already done this video with you guys and I've talked you through the whole sown for winter. I would normally aim to sow my seeds by mid-August at the latest, and today is the 1st of September, so I'm already a few weeks outside my comfort zone. But also, I would normally be growing a lot of stuff in the greenhouse. I sow my seeds in the greenhouse, get them germinated and brought on in there before I would put any outside in the garden. The reason being, from August onwards in my garden, the temperatures start to get colder, the days start to get shorter. So it's not ideal growing. And starting the seeds in mid-August means that they've had time to germinate and get to be strong little seedlings that I can then grow from. And I've got more chance that way of having decent sized plants by the time everything kind of stops for winter. Because once it gets cold and the light reduces, it may not kill them, but it will stop them from growing much over that period of time. And if, like me, your purpose of growing is to get things to harvest, you kind of want it to have a good shot before that happens. But I'm about to throw all of that out the window, and here's why. So my greenhouse is still full of tomatoes and peppers because I sowed later this year. To sow or not to sow, that is the question. So this year's experiment was, can I get a decent tomato and pepper harvest when I didn't sow the seeds until kind of March and April? So the greenhouse has still got lots of plants that are grown, and normally I've sown way earlier, and I'm starting to clear my greenhouse by this time specifically so I can sow my winter seeds. So that's the first conundrum. I had to decide, am I just not going to grow anything this winter? But I kind of like doing it. Even if I don't get massive harvests, it's just fun to have green stuff going over winter. So yeah, I'm doing it. But I'm just going to do it outdoors in this bed. Now, it's an experiment, okay? No holds barred here, not lying to you. This is a big, fun experiment, and I don't think it'll work as well as it's done in previous years, because the weather's been weird this year. Hands up any of you guys who haven't noticed the weather has just been unexpected and strange warm spells and cold spells and lots more rain and wind and stuff, because my garden has been so unpredictable. I know that from now on we're going to see it being colder than it has been, and already we're seeing we're getting much less daylight. Now what that means for me is over winter I can expect it can go down to as little as 6 hours of daylight a day. Now think about that in terms of the little plants needing that daylight to photosynthesize. That's why things really slow down. Temperature wise, winter for me then, all the stuff I'm going to be growing, I know will survive an average winter for me. It won't grow loads over winter, but it won't die. And I know this because I've done it before. But last year, we had an extended period of -8, which totally trashed our garden. It's unusual for us. We average winter for us, maybe some -5, -6, but it's usually a day or two. We don't get extended periods. We're usually sitting around the -3, -4 for most of it. So I don't know what to expect this year. We'll just have to see. So hence why we're giving this a go. Right, let's go then. 2 types of kind of sown for winter that you can do then. One is stuff that you sow with the idea being that it will be harvestable in early spring. That's things like your spring cabbages, that kind of stuff. The other type is the kind of greens and lettuces and things that you can grow over winter. The hope being that they're very quick to grow, so you can actually be cropping over winter. That's what I'm going to be doing. So, fancy growing along with me? Why not? It's just an experiment, it's a bit of fun. I'll put a link in the video description that will be a link to all of the seeds so you can get all the details on all of the seeds. But here goes then. 7 kind of types of things. All of these are things I've grown in other years. They're all things that I know we will eat and I know usually will grow in my garden. So, first one then. Because this is the most popular with you guys, and these are the plants that I got the most amount of comments about, and it is pak choi. So I've got 2 types of pak choi I grow, a green and a red. They're nothing fancy, but you guys go mad for the red pak choi, so I've got to do it, haven't I? Now, again, I've grown this outdoors in the garden and it was totally fine over winter, except I know that the beasties in my garden quite like munching these, so we'll just have to see how it goes. So the first one's going to be pak choi red. I'm just going to put labels in so I can judge my space. I'm going to have pak choi green. First 2. Next one then, massive favourite of ours, and it is Broccoletti Quarantino Riccio. But it's basically a broccoli wrap. So you'll see lots of varieties of this. In fact, I know Jessie down in London always does Cina di Rapa. It's the same idea. This is a small little plant that you can actually eat the whole plant, leaves, the florets, the works. It looks a bit like sprouting broccoli when you've picked the florets off, but it's got a really quite a sharp bitter taste, so it works amazing on, we use it on pizzas and pastas and stuff because it cuts right through fatty things or creamy things. It's brilliant. We've got an awesome pizza recipe using it. So that's going to be my next one. I'll put you there. And then I've also got 2 mustards I grow. Now these are giant mustards. We use them as cooking leaves. We don't use them as salad leaves. Hence we can have big leaves for them. Now it's green wave mustard and dragon's tongue. The reason I'm growing 2 types is because they actually taste slightly different and they look different. The dragon's tongue is gorgeous and it's got these kind of red bits on it. It's stunning. So yeah, 2 of them. I'm going to run out of space already. I've already got lettuces going because I did that with you guys a couple of weeks ago. And that is my winter marvel and my all year round. Now I've also got winter gem lettuces. All 3 of these work brilliantly in our garden over winter, but weirdly the winter marvel, which is a really soft leaved lettuce, is almost like a butterhead. It survived the -8. It was the only thing that strongly survived those -8 temperatures. It just defrosted and kept going. It was brilliant. So more of that's going. Now that leaves 3 that I don't have space for at the minute, and that is spinach. Like pak choi, spinach is one of those things that you can be sown in the later parts of the year and the earlier parts of the year because they're much better in the cooler months because they don't bolt so readily. So you could be getting some spinach going. I'm going to have to wait until I've got some space and get that going. So I'll hold on to that just now. The other one, tat soy. I grew this for the first time last year. It's like pack, but it's a big rosette type plant. Oh, it's stunning. It needs a wee bit of space though. So again, I'll wait till I've got some good space for it. The other one is another green if you don't like mustards, but you want nice big leaves that you can cook, and a plant that's super hardy. Perpetual spinach. I've actually got some going in the green stock, so I don't need to sow any out here, but that one just goes and goes and goes, and it's Kate loves it for the whole running joke about it being perpetual. She keeps going, is it still spinach?
Honey,
I
brought you a bouquet.
Oh, what is it?
Still spinach.
So that's all my seeds that I'm growing at the minute then. Pak Choi Red. Now how much have I got left in here? There we go. So these are tiny little seeds, and we'll sow them with a bit of a sprinkle. So I'm just going to make a wee drill. Okay. Now, the thing is, you don't want to sow all these things too closely together, because these are actually going to turn out to be quite decent sized plants. There you go. That wasn't difficult, was it? Pak Choi Red in. Just going to cover that over. Done. Green. Same gang, it's these little tiny small seeds. So let's get a drill going. And you can see I've left a decent amount of space between, because again, I'm wanting these to get to be a decent size. Doesn't need a lot. And let's cover that over. Broccoli then. Oh, I'm already thinking about those pizzas. So you'll see this, they're all these tiny little seeds. Another really fine sowing. Top tip, when you're pouring seeds back into the packet from your hand, do it over the drill where you've just sown them, because you don't want random seeds all over the place that you won't know what they are. That's called a weed. Right, cover over. And we've got our mustards. So green wave, as I said, these are just fabulous for cooking. You can eat mustards raw. If you do, my recommendation is get them when they're nice and small. I find they're a wee bit hotter or spicier when they're smaller, but they're much more tender. So if you're going to be putting them in a salad or whatever, you want those little tender leaves. And the last one is the dragon's tongue. This is a favourite of Kate's. Not because she's a particular favourite of it sort of for its taste or anything, but because she quite likes dragons. She's got dragon tattoos, she loves her dragons. So she likes this just because it's the whole dragon's tongue thing. Oh look, an old label. Ilsa Craig onions. Again, just a thin sprinkling. Obviously not all the seeds will germinate, but you know, we don't want anything mad. Seeds are in. Last thing I need to do then is give this a really good water. And then I'll tell you something else. So that's seeds in the outdoor bed. Will they grow? Won't they grow? Will the winter kill them? Will we get any, or will the beasties eat them all? This is all part of the experiment. But at some point, my greenhouse is going to be empty. Those tomatoes and peppers aren't going to last forever. So just in case, I've sown a wee tray of all of this stuff that, if I've got space and it comes on, I can get some going in the greenhouse over winter as well. And we'll just add it to the fun of the experiment. So if you fancy this then, I said, video description has got a link to all of these seeds there if you want to have a look. And if you just fancy a bit more sown and grown and that kind of thing, and you want to see what these guys did, what they looked like, how well they did, then here's a wee playlist for you that's all the videos that show these, just the random vlogs that have got this stuff in them. Hope that was fun, guys. Let me know in the comments if you're going to have a bit of fun and do the grow along with me. Because, what's the worst that can happen? See you guys.